The following is for informational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities or advisory service. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Be sure to consult with a qualified financial advisor and or tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein. The more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net. It's time for another financial education segment with our president and CEO of Solid Rock Financial, John Dwyer.
Hey, Stacy, how are you today?
Good, good. And also financial author and CPA, Bryan Bloom.
Hi, Stacy.
Now, today we're talking about something that people will, it probably affected them last week. It might affect them next week. It's large purchasing, like purchasing large things, cars, boats, those kinds of things, right?
Right.
Is that what you would consider large purchases?
That's what we call major capital purchases. Anything that you do not have the monthly cash flow to pay for in full is what we would consider a major capital or large purchase.
Now, most people probably go about this entirely wrong. Okay, let me know if I did the right thing. I saved up until I had enough cash to pay cash for my car. Mm-hmm. Is this good, or should I have taken on a car payment?
You know what? They're the same.
Yeah. Damn it, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear you did a good job.
and that's part of the problem because people are lulled by the financial institutions to either pay interest, which is on a loan, and that's why you saved.
Right.
But as soon as you saved your money and then spent it on the car, now you're no longer getting interest on that money. So either way, you're spending interest, and that's what the financial institutions are kind of doing to us. Whether you save and spend or borrow and pay back, you still get back to zero.
True.
And so it's a losing strategy either way because you're paying or either not getting interest.
It's what we call the financial zero line.
Yeah.
Oh. So then what do you recommend to people?
So a lot of people are lulled now into the advertisements of car dealerships advertising 0% financing because that would be a great way to borrow if it's not costing you anything. But the
car
question
dealerships,
is,
furniture places, a lot of them do that now.
Oh, that's right. But are you really paying 0%?
I'm going to say probably not, or they wouldn't offer it.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we're given a choice. You can either have a 0% loan or you can have $1,500 cash back on your car. Well, you take the 0% loan, that automatically means that the car is actually costing you $1,500 more because you're financing the full price of the car when you could have paid cash for the price of the car minus $1,500. And so what the $1,500 cash back represents in that transaction is $1,500 of prepaid interest. Mm-hmm. So 0% is not 0%.
No.
And we get stuck there, and then sometimes maybe we'll buy an automobile we don't need to buy yet because hey, 0%, I can do a $350 a month car payment. The problem is that's $350 a month I don't have.
Or they get those deals like if they go buy an entire set of new furniture because no payments for 3 months.
Right.
But then your payments kick in and it's like, wow, why is my payment $2,000?
Right. And
each month.
Right. And the thing they don't tell you about that one is if you don't get it paid off in 3 months and you go 3 months in a day, all the interest from the very beginning gets charged to you.
Absolutely.
At a big rate.
At a big rate. Usually typically are higher than the APR that the card started out with.
Yeah, that's right.
But you got to read the fine print on that. But the reality is it comes down to with car purchases, you just really have to understand and do the math. Is it really a 0% interest? And most of the times you'll find out that it's not. And so when it comes to, how do you make these major capital purchases? See, people don't want to be in debt, and we don't want our clients to be in debt either. Okay, but there's also a difference between good debt and bad debt, and the reality is that paying cash is, hey, I want to pay cash for this. There's something said about, hey, I'm not going to take on debt, I'm going to pay cash for it. But it kind of alluded to back to our mortgage conversation earlier on, is that you finance everything you buy. You're either going to pay the interest or you're going to give up the interest to earn on your capital, which Bryan talked about is looking at what account that money came from.
Right.
Okay. So when it comes to paying cash, you just we call that a defensive strategy. right? But you're still draining the account, and you're still killing the compounding effect on your money. Now, if you were earning 0.0 nothing on that account, and you were going to have a 3 or 4% loan, okay, then that's a different conversation, a different story. But typically, we can find places for people to position their assets to where they're going to compound a little bit higher than the loan costs.
Another way to think about this too is when you buy a car, do you plan on using all of the car up?
Like, am I going to leave half of it at home?
Well, no. In 3 years, are you going to trade it in for something else?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But yet we pay cash for all the car.
True.
Or we finance all the car.
Oh, see, then I made a good choice because my cars usually have 200,000 miles.
Sure. And then you're buying or financing all the car. But for someone who's not, who trades it in or is going to do something different, why would you pay for the parts you don't use?
Right.
So if you do this right, you can choose to only pay for the part of the car you're actually going to use, or you can choose to finance only the part of the car you're going to use if you're in charge of your money.
Right.
And that's what making large capital purchases is all about, is you being in charge of your money and not being dictated by the bank or the person that's selling you the large purchase.
And positioning you to where you have access to capital and you understand the ability to collateralize your assets in a very different factor that the financial institutions are doing every single day.
And you have to work ahead on this. It's almost like you're building your own bank.
Right.
So that you're in charge of the money.
So now a lot of people, I know I just talked about this with somebody the other day. A lot of people would rather finance their car through the dealership than go through a bank, even though the interest rates are the same. What would be the benefit in that, do you think?
If the interest rates are the same and the payment, I mean, if the interest rates are the same, I don't see an advantage or disadvantage to that.
Right. It doesn't seem like it makes any difference, right?
It's easier because you can walk away with the car if you do it through the dealership.
Yes.
If you got to go to the bank and make application first, you might not have that car for a few days.
Oh, true.
So that may be one of the reasons why they do it that way.
But if the interest rate environment's the same, then it's just more of a simplistic deal versus what is better financially.
Well, and the cars are being marketed to us that the car is going to cost you $350 a month.
Right.
Not that it's going to cost you $26,000.
Yeah, that's true.
And car dealerships can do that because they're offering the financing right there.
That's true. Okay, so then best way if I'm going to purchase a car or a boat, or if I am your client, John, and I come in and say, I want to buy a boat or I want to buy a car, or what would be the first thing that we work with?
Well, again, it's one, how long you've been a client, and if we positioned you in the proper position to where you can collateralize your assets and never kill the compounding of your account and leverage those assets.
So don't go cash out a 401k to buy a boat.
No.
Look at the look of panic in his eyes. I think I just hit a button.
That would be bad advice. And so that's not something that we're talking about. So again, it's all stages, right? So clients that have been working with me for a number of years, they're in a position to where we can have options. We can evaluate using the dealership's money. We can evaluate using the bank's money. We can evaluate collateralizing and leveraging assets that they have to make the purchases. See, the whole point in our planning process with our clients is that we're always providing options and putting our clients in control of their money. For the first time, they're understanding the importance of control and being in control of their decisions and being in control of their money instead of having the financial institutions dictate and tell us what we should be doing with our assets. Because of where people position their assets, they have no control. They are controlled by the financial institutions who want our money, who want it on an ongoing basis, who want to hang on to it for as long as they can and give as little back as possible.
And there's kind of like I've noticed there's a recurring theme at Solid Rock Financial Group, and that's growing your wealth in the most tax-efficient way possible.
Absolutely. Cultivating and creating wealth in a tax-efficient manner, because the reality is where taxes are heading, that could be the biggest opportunity or mistake for people to where they position their assets. But again, it's all about providing liquidity, use, and control of your assets, understanding coordination and integration, and helping people understand that it's strategy, not product. Now, you have to have financial products to play the game. Don't get me wrong with what I'm saying there. But so many times when we look at our clients who have been working with, and most of our clients work with other advisors, but they come in because there's pain points. There's things that aren't working, right? And they look down. They have what we call the financial junk drawer. They have all kinds of stuff, but there's no coordination, integration. There's been no strategy applied to their financial vehicles. So you have to have the financial products, but not until the swing, when I refer to swing, is a golf analogy, right? If you were to play in the Masters, would you rather pick the ability of a professional golfer, or would you rather have the best clubs designed for you? What's going to help you win that game?
Probably the best clubs designed for me.
Okay, the ability.
Yeah.
The ability of the golfer, right? So the swing is more valuable.
Yeah.
Okay. So we take our clients to what we call the financial tee box to get their swing correct. The financial products will come.
Gotcha.
Okay, and positioning them in a proper placement to be able to collateralize assets, to be able to be in a position of options and control of their finances.
So if people want to get a hold of you guys and set up an appointment to have you possibly go over their portfolio and everything that they're working with, how can they get a hold of you?
They can call the office at 701-223-1000, and they can ask for Misty, and she could get you scheduled.
Okay. And you guys also have a Facebook page at Solid Rock Financial Group, Inc., INC. And what's your website?
www.srfinancial.net.
And Bryan, if they want to get a hold of you?
Email's the best way. My first initial B, my last name Bloom, BLOOM, at theamericagroup.com.
Perfect. Thanks for being on, guys.
Thanks a lot, Stacey. It's great to be here.
All right, we'll be back here in just a couple moments. You're listening to Financial Friday on urlradio.net.